Hi, this is Books with Brushu, and I'm Jordan. I like to drink coffee and read books. So today, we are starting another seasonal reading vlog, and this one is reading winter books. So I'm super excited to jump into some snowy, winter, cold reads. So I've got a few for you today. I've got one audiobook and 3 physical books that I'm hoping to read, and we will see if we get to all of those in the next couple of weeks. And yes, it is after Christmas, and I still have my Christmas tree up and all of my Christmas decorations, which normally I don't take my Christmas tree down right away because 1, it took so long for me to put it up with all the friggin' ornaments, and 2, it's a nice ambiance. I like sitting in the living room with just the tree on, and it's so nice. So y'all better just get used to seeing it because it's not gonna come down soon. Probably neither of them will. First on the list is the audiobook, which I've already started reading, or listening to, whatever. It's shorter, so I'm gonna finish it probably today, actually. It is called Kissing My Coworker, and it's by Jay Sterling. It is the first book in the Fun for the Holidays series. So this is a series of novellas, of holiday-themed novellas. So there's one for every month of the year, and it starts off with January, and it's called Kissing My Coworker. It's about these 2 people who work together in a company. They are at a New Year's Eve party and fall in love / get together or something like that. I think it's less than 3-hour audiobook. I listened to it yesterday when I drove to the grocery store and then when I drove home, and I'm already halfway through it. So I will finish it today. So we're introduced to our 2 main characters. Declan is the man and Lily is the female. And Declan is an executive at the company. It's like a film production company, and they do a bunch of different things. So Declan is an executive and Lily is an executive's assistant, but not his assistant. She is the assistant for a different executive in the same office. And she does not like her boss. And in the past, there have been a couple of inter-office relationships that did not end so well, and they created a lot of turmoil and havoc in the office. So it's kind of an unwritten rule to not date people in the office. And they have had a crush on each other since Lily started working there. Unfortunately, they're kind of afraid to get together. Since it's a short novella, things are progressing pretty quickly, but right now they're at the company New Year's Eve party, so we're gonna see how exactly they get together. Physical books that I wanna read for this, they actually all happen to be on my Kindle, so getting some Kindle reads in this month. The one that I already have downloaded that I'm gonna start off with first is Winter Garden by Kristin Hannah. So I have really loved all of the Kristin Hannah books that I have read so far. I've read The Nightingale and The Women. Those are the only 2 that I've read. And so I'm excited to jump into another one. And I figured since it's called Winter Garden that it might be, you know, good for a winter reading vlog. So let's go ahead and pull it up on Goodreads. And let's read a little synopsis about Winter Garden. Meredith and Nina Whitson are as different as sisters can be. One stayed at home to raise her children and manage the family apple orchard. The other followed a dream and traveled the world to become a famous photojournalist. But when their beloved father falls ill, Meredith and Nina find themselves together again, standing alongside their cold, disapproving mother, Anya, who even now offers no comfort to her daughters. As children, the only connection between them was the Russian fairy tale Anya sometimes told the girls at night. On his deathbed, their father extracts a promise from the women in his life. The fairy tale will be told one last time, and all the way to the end. Thus begins an unexpected journey into the truth of Anya's life in the war-torn Leningrad more than 5 decades ago. Alternating between the past and present, Meredith and Nina will finally hear the singular, harrowing story of their mother's life, and what they learn is a secret so terrible and terrifying that it will shake the very foundation of their family and change who they believe they are. Another deep, traumatizing Kristin Hannah book, but Winter Garden, set in Russia, you know, it's cold there and it snows. Ew, anyway. Okay, and then the next book that I want to jump into is Credence by Penelope Douglas. And I will insert a picture here of the special edition that I've ordered of it. It gives very winter vibes. It's a bunch of trees with snow all over them. And I have heard really good things about this book. It's really messed up, really like taboo. I'm excited to see what it's about. I don't really want to read the synopsis because I want to go in totally blind. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything about this book. I don't want anything given away. So Credence is another hopeful for this winter reading vlog. Then if I still have time, which Winter Garden and Credence are pretty long books. I think they're both over 500 pages or right at 500 pages. So well, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to read a third book. So we'll see. We'll see. So if I get through those two, I want to read A Glorious Decade by Lucia de Misa. This was an ARC that I received actually a couple of months ago, and I just haven't gotten to it, unfortunately. And it sounds really interesting. It is also a longer book. I think it's also over 500 pages. Yeah, it's 575 pages. So that's also long. So I really don't think I'm gonna get to all three in this video. But this just kind of gave me like New Year vibes. Let's read the synopsis for it. A devastating Hollywood love triangle the world will never forget. For years, Johnny and Samira were Hollywood favorite on and off, yet desperately in love couple. The passion between them set the world aflame and grew their careers. But when their relationship imploded under the pressure of fame for the final time, Johnny shocked everyone by announcing he was engaged to a mysterious fashion model, Eileen. Weeks later, Eileen's engagement to Johnny set off a devastating chain reaction across America. For years, Eileen silently withstood the vitriol thrown her way for ruining Hollywood's golden couple. Now, 10 years later, Eileen is ready to tell her side of this whirlwind story. Sit tight while Eileen, Johnny, and Samira might just rock the world. I don't know why this cover just kind of gave me like New Year's like vibes or something, but this book has been on my mind for a while because I did receive the ARC and I still haven't gotten to it, and the book's already out. We'll see if I get to it because, again, lots of pages in these books. I will check back in when I finish Kissing My Coworker because, again, that's a short novella and it's actually due back to the library tomorrow, so I do need to get it finished. And then start on Winter Garden, even though I'm not done with Alchemized. This is not a video about Alchemized. I have like 300 pages left. I had to take a break last night because it was hurting my heart. It was hurting me. It's so good, but it's so devastating. It's just like heart-wrenching and traumatic. And okay, these thoughts are for a different video. This is not this video. Okay, bye. Okay, first update. I did, in fact, finish Kissing My Coworker today. Y'all, it was really cute. It was really cute. I was smiling literally the entire time that I was listening to it. It was just, their banter was cute. What happened was cute. The little bit of a relationship that we got between them was cute. I really, really enjoyed it. Like, normally I don't expect too much from novellas, but this one was real cute, y'all. Like, I really liked it. Obviously, they end up together. Obviously, there's not much in the way of them ending up together, but it was also them having pined after each other for 2 years. So the feelings were already there. They already knew each other. They'd already been working around each other for a long time. So that helped speed along the process, but it was definitely cute. I would recommend reading this book, especially since it's so fast, and I really enjoyed the writing and I enjoyed their story. So that's all there is to it. So I ended up giving Kissing My Coworker 4.25 stars. That's pretty good. I will continue on with the series. I'm planning on reading one every month this year. So Should have the series finished up by December 2026. I would say most of those are probably going to be in reading vlogs. We'll see how it goes, but I would say most of those books are going to be in reading vlogs. That's where I'm at. I haven't started reading Winter Garden yet because I'm still reading Alchemized. You look real close. You can see Pascal out there. He's out there exploring. Got a little bit of a reading update for you. So I did in fact start The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna, and I am about halfway through. So the reason I haven't done an update yet is because not a whole lot is happening in the book. And also, you might be wondering why I'm outside in the middle of winter. Well, it's winter in Georgia, and it is quite warm today. It is in fact almost 70 degrees. So I did some yard work today, and I'm actually out here in shorts. So it's quite nice out right now. So I decided to just come out here and do a little update and read some. Winter Garden. This story is about a mother and a father and their 2 daughters. We start off with a prologue of when the daughters are younger. I think the oldest was about 15, and the youngest is a couple years younger than her. Their mom is very distant. She's always been very distant. However, she tells these fairy tale stories at night to the girls before they go to bed. So the girls decide that they want to put on a play during Christmas, doing a reenacting of the fairy tale that their mom tells them. Well, this makes the mother very angry and basically just makes the chasm between her and her daughters even deeper. Oh, I did forget to mention that the mother is Russian. So she's from Russia, and the father is, I believe, American. At least they live, I'm pretty sure the father's American, and they live in the United States. I know they live in the United States in Washington State. Then we fast forward, and the girls are grown, and the one daughter, Meredith, is married to the boy who she knew growing up, and they have 2 daughters of their own who are both grown and out of the house at college. Meredith is struggling with this. And then we meet Nina, who is the other sister, the younger one, and she is a photojournalist for, I don't know if it's for a specific magazine or whatever, but she basically goes to third world countries. She's in Africa a lot, and she takes photos of crises and different crises that happen around the world. Assassinations, famines, drought, etc. So she travels around the world, and she is rarely home. Well, at the beginning of the book, the father gets really sick, and he is afraid that if he dies, since there's such a rift between his wife and their daughters, that the family will fall apart, which is a very valid concern because the mother is very, very distant. She honestly acts like she doesn't love her children at all. She pays no attention to them. She's not loving, anything like that. So the daughters have tried to get their mother to love them and to get her to care enough to pay attention to them. And they've finally given up. They just don't care anymore because they know she's not going to change. Well, the father ends up dying, and exactly what he was afraid would happen happens. For some reason, the father makes them all promise to listen to their mom tell this fairy tale, and he wants her to tell the entire thing. Apparently, she's never told the entire thing before. So after a lot of back and forth, a lot of different things are happening, kind of like day-to-day things, like trying to take care of their elderly mother, dealing with their own grief, dealing with their own personal relationships, etc. They are also trying to convince their mother to tell them this fairy tale. Meredith, honestly, she's done with it. She doesn't care about the fairy tale. She just wants to get on with her life because she is grieving and she's doing the best that she can, taking care of everybody. However, it's pushing everyone else in her life away. So they are dealing with a bunch of issues. Hi, baby. You can come up here. So they're dealing with a bunch of their issues, and their mother is finally starting to tell them this fairy tale. So that's where I'm at in the story. Almost 50% of the way through. Like stuff has obviously happened, but not a whole ton has happened. And this book does read really fast. The Kindle version is 400 pages, and I'm on page 165, which is 40% of the way through. And I will check back in later. What's wrong, baby? What you doing, silly baby? You wanna go inside? You ready to go inside? Mm-hmm. Someone should let their doggy in their house. Hi, I am back after several days with an update. I did, in fact, finish Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. Although this book started off a little bit slow, it was still really good. It was still really, really good, y'all. We get a lot of what it was like in Russia during World War II, especially during the siege of Leningrad. We're with Meredith and Nina as they go through this journey with their mom, and their mom is telling them this fairy tale. The girls soon realize that this fairy tale is actually based off real events that happened. And as they dig a little bit deeper, they realize that their mom is talking about Leningrad when Stalin was the ruler there, and the bad things that he did while he was ruling. Then World War II starting up and Germany invading Russia and laying siege to Leningrad, and what her and her family were going through there, especially during winter. So I knew that St. Petersburg got cold during the winter. I didn't realize that it got to -20. Like, that's so cold, like with so much snow. I guess I didn't realize it got that cold. So you're walking through this quote fairy tale that the girls realize is true, and they're trying to figure out who exactly their mother is in this story. The girls are slowly breaking the ice with their mom. She's finally opening up a little bit about other things than just the fairy tale, and they go on this venture of forgiveness and family and putting each other first, and the girls, they look back on their lives as they were growing up, and as they're hearing this fairy tale, they're seeing those moments that affected them so tremendously, and it's changing their perspective on those moments, because now they realize, based off of past events that their mother went through and past trauma that their mother went through, that there was a reason that she was this way. There was a reason that she acted this way, and it changed their perspective. This book is devastating. This book is devastating, and at the end you realize how good we have it, how good our lives here truly are, and how blessed we are, and how blessed we are to live in a nation where we have free choice and free speech, and we can say whatever we want to. We can say whatever we want to, and we don't have to fear someone overhearing and then getting taken away and just disappearing for something that you've said or something that you've written or whatever, that you just disappear and no one ever sees you again. So we are very, very lucky to live in a place where that is not the truth. That stuff doesn't happen. At the end of the day, this was a really good book. It was heartbreaking. It was devastating, just like every Kristen Hanna book is. You learn stuff and you feel things, and it's just a great story. Now, make sure you look up trigger warnings, because this mom went through a lot. She went through a lot when she was living in Russia, so just be aware. I gave The Winter Garden 4.5 stars. I have started my next book, and that is Credence by Penelope Douglas. So unfortunately, I started this book right before I went to bed last night. So dumb, guys. I had already finished Winter Garden, and so I finished that the night before. So I like to read my Kindle before I go to bed to kind of like wind down. Well, I thought, I'm not in the middle of any book right now because I just finished Winter Garden, so I guess I'll start Credence. And let's be real, I've also been really looking forward to reading this book. So I decided to start Credence. And y'all, I stayed up for over 3 hours reading. I was up until midnight, which is late for me considering that I try to get into bed between 8 and 8:30 because I wake up because I wake up so early in the morning. I've been so tired today. And I was also really busy at work all day. Anyway, so yes, I did start Credence last night. I got 100 pages in. So we are, oh, my back hurts. Oh, my back hurts. So we are introduced to Tiernan. She is our main female character. And the first thing we learn about her is that both of her parents have committed suicide. That she's kind of been pushed to the side in their lives. That her parents, they really only cared about each other. And they barely cared about their daughter and barely paid attention to her. And she has lived with that. Come to realize that her father had cancer. No one had told her. Her mother, instead of, wanting to stay alive and stay with her daughter, decided that they were both going to commit suicide together and die in each other's arms and leave their 17-year-old daughter alone. And the even worse part, they didn't leave her a letter. They left her nothing. They left her absolutely nothing. She was home for break from school because she goes to a boarding school. If they had just waited 1 week, one singular week, she wouldn't have even been home. She wouldn't have even been home and had to discover her dead parents in the bedroom next to her. So absolutely no thought went to their daughter. Terrible, terrible. So that was the first scene that we're introduced. Well, then her dad's stepbrother calls her and says, hey, your parents' lawyer just called me, and apparently they have listed me as your guardian because you're 10 weeks or 11 weeks away from being 18. And then he says he has no intention of making her move, making her go anywhere, making her do anything. But if she wants to come to Colorado to live in his house with him and his 2 sons, she is more than welcome. He does warn her that the house is very secluded and that when it starts to snow, they get snowed in because the roads aren't plowed and they can't leave their property. And this is an uncle that she's never met because her father and his stepbrother, they didn't get along. They didn't like each other at all. So she's never met him. She's never met his sons. She's never spoken to them. So she doesn't know who they are really at all. Well, he says, if you want to come, you can go ahead and come. And if you don't want to, no big deal. And he sends her a plane ticket. He sends her a plane ticket, just open invitation. Obviously, she decides to go. And she goes to their house and meets the sons, and she's getting weird feelings from all of them. Now, mind you, they're not her blood relatives. In no way, shape, or form are they related by blood. She has never really thought of these people as her uncle and her cousins. And she's not really sure how old they are. She's just kind of guessing. She's assuming that the uncle is in his early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, and that the sons are in their early 20s. She's getting some weird vibes from them. Like, they're walking around without shirts on and she can't stop staring at them. And they're flirting with her or like brush up against her when they're like in the kitchen or whatever. I already knew it was going to be taboo. I already knew it was going to be taboo. So just, if you're interested in this book, make sure you look it up and know what you're getting into. Now, the scene that I left off at last night, some things happened to Tiernan. Some non-con things. And she says stop multiple times. Probably, I don't know, 8 times. Finally, he stops because someone else walks into the room. But it got real close. It got real close. I mean, things happened, but just look up trigger warnings and stuff before you read this book. It's definitely interesting. So I'm 100 pages into that. I'm actually going to New York tomorrow. Me and some of my friends are going up there to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway with Tom Felton, and we are so excited. So I will be reading Credence on the plane tomorrow, in my hotel room at night, etc. Me and my friend from grad school, well, actually, everybody on this trip, we all love to read. So we're all gonna be talking about a lot of books the whole time. But specifically, my friend from grad school, we have planned to go to several different bookstores while we're there, and we're super excited about it. Can't wait for that. I will check back in with you in a few days. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Y'all, this is so good. Like, what am I reading? But also, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Y'all, stuff is going down. Stuff is going down. Okay, y'all, so it has been several days since I updated you, and I went to New York to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway, and it was absolutely amazing. It was so good. Oh my gosh. It was, all of the actors and actresses were amazing. I loved all the special effects. I loved the storyline, and most of all, I loved seeing Tom Felton play Draco. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And the actors who played Scorpius and Albus were so good. And I mean, they were all so good, but Scorpius was really so good. He just totally, oh my gosh, it was just so good. If you get a chance to go see it, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Like, it was so good. So I hope my camera's not too crooked because I'm sitting here on the couch with it, and you know how well tripods sit on couches. Anyway, and you can probably see my YouTube on. I was just doing sprints with Lindsay on She's Booked and Busy, but anyway, I got so many things to update you guys on because it's been so long since I've checked in. So, went to New York. I saw multiple shows, including Harry Potter. And me and my friends went to several bookstores, which I will insert some pictures of all the different bookstores we went to. We spent some time in Brooklyn, and we went to some bookstores in Brooklyn, and then also we went to the big Barnes & Noble by Union Square, and we went to the Strand, and another really cute bookstore and bar, which I don't think I got any pictures there because it was so packed. A lot of, like, the Strand was so busy because it was a Saturday, so I didn't get any video footage. I didn't even bring this camera with me, but anyway, so I got some pictures and I'll insert those, and we just had a really good time, and I bought some cute books, which those books will be in my haul, which is coming up soon. Unfortunately, one of the days in New York, I don't know if it was something I ate or if I caught a little bit of a stomach bug or what it was, but I woke up on, well, it was actually early Friday morning, and I just didn't feel good and I was throwing up. So me and two of the girls that I went with, who also love to read, We just stayed in our hotel room most of Friday because I didn't feel good. I was throwing up. I couldn't eat anything. I didn't eat anything all day Friday. So we stayed in our hotel room all the way until like 5 o'clock when we met for dinner before we went to see Harry Potter. So I got a ton of reading done that day because it's literally all we did. We watched a little bit of TV, but we read a lot. I finished Credence. So I know I haven't done any updates on Credence. So, or I barely did an update on Credence where Tiernan had like just gone to the cabin, or she was just going to the cabin in Colorado. So at first we meet her uncle Jake and her cousin Noah. And her other cousin Caleb, he is just off somewhere. She doesn't know exactly where he is. Jake and Noah just say that Caleb is in, and she doesn't know what that means yet. So she kind of slowly gets introduced to life on their property and all of the work they have to do there. They have to take care of the animals, and they have to take care of the garden and procure food and, you know, do projects around the house. The boys own a motorcycle like repair business, or like they do modifications for on motorcycles for racing. So that's where they make their money. Currently it's like fall season. Tiernan's birthday is in, I think, 8 or 10 weeks, something like that. So her birthday is in November. So it's late summer, early fall. They are basically getting prepared for winter. So they live so high up a mountain that when winter hits and it starts to snow, there's no way to plow the roads because they live so far up the mountain. So basically they just get stuck up the mountain and they can't go into town and they can't go anywhere. So it's just them all alone up on this mountain. They spend the bulk of the fall getting ready for winter, for literally from like the end of November through April. They can't leave the mountain. They have to prepare, you know, get enough gas, make sure everything's fixed, make sure they have food, make sure they have water, make sure they have medical supplies, etc. for, you know, 6 months or whatever it is, 5 months. Tiernan is slowly starting to learn all of the things around the house and learning the men and how they are and their personalities because they've never met before. And she has been so lonely in her life. So lonely in her life. She has no friends. She basically had no family because her parents sucked. So she is finally with a family. She has, you know, been included, but she's just so lonely that she's just desperate for any attention, for any love, for anyone to show her any affection. She starts to get these just like thoughts about, because we still haven't met Caleb yet. So she starts to get these thoughts about Jake and Noah because they're walking around without shirts on and they're like really ripped and like really good looking and pretty young. Who wouldn't with some hot men around? And they're not blood related, okay? Let me say it again. They're not blood related, okay? They're not her actual relatives. They're related by marriage. They're not related. She didn't grow up with them, so, okay? Anyway, she meets Caleb for the first time. And it's interesting. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. And I think I talked about that in my previous clip. Maybe, I can't, it's been so long, I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, she was kind of into it. She was kind of into it. Anyway, so Noah interrupts some things going on in the shop, and that's how we meet Caleb. Tiernan wakes up the next day and decides to not tell Jake, the dad, not tell Jake about her first encounter with Caleb. She doesn't want Caleb to get in trouble. Well, we also find out that Caleb doesn't speak. We don't know why, but Caleb doesn't talk at all to anyone. He doesn't even write to communicate, just nothing. And Tiernan is adamant that she doesn't want to know why. She wants Caleb to tell her why. There are a couple instances where Tiernan is flirted with or approached by men in the town. None of these men she lives with react well to that. Jake and Noah tell her very adamantly to not hang around the boys in town, that they're bad news. They're just after her because she's new. She's the new shiny thing in town and she's very pretty, and just to stay away from them because they're bad news. I don't want to spoil anything because it was so good. It was just so good. Some things that Caleb does that are like real territorial and like touch her and die vibes. I'm just so touch her and die. Oh my gosh. This book, y'all, I cannot stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. It was so good. Anyway, then they go out. Okay, hold on. They go out for Tiernan's birthday and major shit goes down. And then the snow starts and then they're all trapped up on the mountain together. And when I tell you that these boys are horny, these boys are horny. In like the 8 or 10 weeks, whatever, that Tiernan's been there, they have had girls on a fucking rotation in and out of that house. I mean, girls just showing up at the house in the middle of the night and sneaking in bedrooms. So you know these men are horny. And now they're trapped. Now they're trapped in this house with just them and Tiernan. And some things start to happen. And not with just one of them. Not with just one of them. And it's so good, you guys. It's so good. I mean, like, bad stuff happens. It's so good. It's so good. Now, check your triggers. Make sure you know what you're getting into if you don't like dark romance, if you don't like taboo romance, you know, stuff like that. But I absolutely loved Credence and I can't stop thinking about it. And I finished it and like immediately wanted to read it again, that's the second time that this has happened to me this month, that I finished a book and I want to directly read it again. Like, I just can't get over it. And luckily, the special edition that I ordered is currently on its way. It is on a plane from the UK to the United States as we speak. So I am so excited to get my hands on that. And I just can't wait. It was so good. I want to read it again. I ended up giving Credence 4.75 stars, but honestly, the more I think about it, I might have to change that to a 5-star because I can't stop thinking about it. I might just have to change it to 5-star. Like, 5-star, it was so good. And I found out that Noah is actually featured in some of her other books. She has another, oh my gosh, let me look it up. I can't remember the names of the series. She has the Fall Away series, which is about, they have a motorcycle team that does races and stuff. That's the Fall Away series. Well, then she has, oh my gosh, words. Then she has a second gen story from Fall Away, the Hellbent series, and there are 2 books out in that series. Well, apparently Noah is mentioned or is in the Hellbent series. Now I'm like, okay, I gotta read the Fall Away series because Hellbent is a second gen story from the Fall Away series. So I was doing some research on Penelope Douglas's website, and she also says on there that the standalone Misconduct also has some tie-ins to both of the series as well. So I'm like, I gotta read these books, especially if Noah is in some of them. Like, I gotta know. So now I'm like, do I abandon my TBRs and just deep dive into some Penelope Douglas? But man, I might have to because I can't stop thinking about it. I mean, it's so good. If that's what you're into, like, and you haven't read it, It's so good. Like, it's, what? I'm living in a different world in my brain right now. Jordan is not present on this earth. That wraps up this winter reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed the 3 books that I read, and will pick them up for yourself if you haven't read them yet, because I enjoyed all of them thoroughly. And they were all very different from each other, but all had a winter theme. So make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more seasonal reading vlogs and other fun bookish content. I've also got my February Spinner Wheel TBR coming next week, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.